2-point conversion. 2. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Mic check 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you. Testing 1, 2. Mic check. Sounds good. Testing 1, 2, 3. I can barely hear myself. Yeah, could you turn it up like a tiny bit? Testing. Yeah, right there. Right there is good for me.
Yeah, I can hear myself just fine. I'm having a little bit of, I can hear Trevor or Brendan pretty good, but try it again once. Go ahead.
Mic check 1, 2.
There we go.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think that's better.
I can hear you pretty good
When that
too.
band is playing, it's and I'm sure once they stop playing, it'll be a lot easier.
It's easy to get distracted by like all the noise that's going on around.
Yeah.
When doing play-by-play and any kind of commentary stuff. But when I was working in Kakana just this past month or so ago,
Yep.
the match wasn't even close. They were against like Appleton West or whatever, but the person that I was working with, he was actually the coach of the state wrestling team, like the state all-star team or something like
sure,
that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of his name. But he was really good at like doing play-by-play stuff. I was super impressed. I'm like, dude, how do you know this? But he was a guy in like his 60s, maybe 70s.
Okay. I wonder if it wasn't even, well, it wouldn't have been Coons.
He was just inducted into the Coaches Hall of Fame for wrestling in the state.
Okay.
Gosh, I wish I knew his name.
Well, and the trouble with me, since Ava's my daughter, she was on the state team as well she was on the national team for Wisconsin, and so I know the coaches that were coaching the girls' Wisconsin state team.
Yeah.
But I don't know who they had in the boys' corner.
When to start? Are they about to start, Ty?
Yep, they're shaking hands now.
We can start right now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome live here at Lincoln High School, Wisconsin Rapids High School here for some WIAA wrestling here on Zaleski Sports. Thank you for being a part of our broadcast here. Ty Gardner joining us, Brendan Retzloff here with you guys, and Trevor Zaleski, as well as we're getting ready for Marshfield Tigers going up against the Wisconsin Rapids Red Raiders, and this one should be a pretty interesting matchup that we have for you guys. I believe we'll be starting with the lowest weight class first at 106, and that's going to be Jackson Freeman going up against Micah Bremer.
And actually, Brendan, they're going to be starting out at 120, actually. They do a coin flip. I believe they do. I believe the way they settle the starting weight class is they do a coin flip, and whichever coach calls it correctly gets to choose which weight class they want to start with.
Gotcha. I'm getting too far ahead of myself.
It's all good
here, but yeah, just getting excited and ready for some wrestling action here. National anthem just about to get underway, so we will take things away there.
These individuals have helped build this incredible tradition and continue to inspire the current generation of wrestlers. At this time, will all the past Red Raider wrestling alumni please stand so we can acknowledge you with a round of applause. So to our alumni, thank you for setting the bar so high. To our current team, keep the tradition alive. And to everyone here tonight, thank you for your continued support of Red Raider please rise or remain standing and remove your hats as we honor veterans who have proudly served our country and those who are currently serving this great nation, home and abroad. Tonight, the presentation of the colors by the Buckley Baldwin VFW Post number 2534 Honor Guard will be displaying the flags. After the national anthem, please remain standing while the color guard exits the field house. Honor guard, attention. Port, on. Forward, march. March time. March. Ready? Halt. Left, base. Freeze and on.
Welcome to Bruce Orthodontics, where we provide comprehensive orthodontic care to patients of all ages. We are now accepting new patients, and we accept most insurances.
Orthodontics is much more than just a job to me. It is my passion and my life. What separates us from other orthodontists is constant continuing education for myself and my staff, compassion and dedication. Here at Bruce Orthodontics, we change lives one smile at a time. I'd love the opportunity to meet you and transform your smile.
Call us to set up your free consultation today.
Welcome back, everybody, to Wisconsin Valley Conference Wrestling here on Zaleski Sports, presented by Shuda Funeral Home. Shuda Funeral Services in Stevens Point and Plover is here to help you with all your funeral needs with 2 convenient local locations and personal local touch. Let their experienced staff serve your family. Learn more at shootafuneral.com. That's shootafuneral.com. And Ty, I'll ask you this here. This is a matchup that we have here tonight. 2 of the top teams in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. And Marshfield, they're missing quite a few guys due to injuries and same with sickness. But with this Rapids team, one of the best teams we've been seeing thus far this year. What can Marshfield do to put Rapids here on upset alert? I do not hear.
Well, unfortunately, it's going to take a bit of a minor miracle here. similar to the Miracle on Ice, the hockey game, I think. We're down, the Marshfield Tigers are down a large number of starters due to sickness. A couple guys dinged up and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be, it would take a monumental miracle to pull out a victory here tonight against the number 2 ranked Rapids. Rapids, I believe, is running at full capacity here, and I think we're down at least 5 starters right now, and most of them are ranked in the state of our starters and stuff. So definitely not where Coach Cody C wanted to be at this time of year, but if I've seen anything from Coach C in the past 5 or 6 years, the man is just a stud when it comes to having our team at full strength when it truly, truly matters, which is at the end of the year.
And yeah, getting to see these 2 programs go at it. I myself, was doing play-by-play work with Kaukauna in their area in the Fox Valley, and that team is such a juggernaut of a program. But these 2 teams that we have seen, Marshfield a couple of years ago, they ended up getting to that point where they got to the section or state going up against Kaukauna, and unfortunately they fell to them, but there's still a lot of promise that's behind this program.
For sure. Yep, it's the end of the year here is going to be super exciting. Sickness is only temporary, thank God. The couple of wrestlers that are dinged up is nothing too major, thank God. So towards the end of the year here, that's what Coach Cody C is looking to do, is get everybody healthy, get the big push going. Tonight, some of the, with all the sickness and the starters being down, then I'm sure that what Coach C is thinking is if for some of his starters, if they're dinged up a bit, he's just going to rest them for now and get them prepped for the final push at the end of the season here for the team and for themselves.
And it seems like that's the right option to go with. I mean, once you're missing a few players in action, you just know that you might not be able to make that position of getting that win, which, yeah, it can be a little disappointing to see that happening, but it's the wise decision going into it because you can get everybody healthy, get everybody fresh for the time that matters.
Yeah.
Even though this is for first place in the conference, like you said, it might take a minor miracle, but hey, you never know when it comes to the world of high school sports what you're going to see and find out. And introduce in here Landon Freeman in the 120 class, getting the win by forfeit here, and we'll move on to 126 now.
Yeah, 126 as a freshman by the name of Aspen Tritz here from Rapids. I've seen Aspen wrestle in middle school. I'm a middle school coach as well, so I've seen Aspen wrestle in middle school against our guys, and Aspen will catch a forfeit here as well at 126 as our stud, John Sternweiss, ranked number 6 in the state. He is out with sickness tonight.
And Aspen Tritz, a 17-5 record going into this one tonight. Now with that forfeit, goes up to the 18-5. And Landon Freeman, number 5 in the state for Rapids, now a 26-7 record for Landon. So he's a pretty solid wrestler. But now we have our first true matchup going here tonight in the 132 class. Gavin Jacob, the senior for Rapids, 18-11, going up against Will Cross.
Yeah, Will is fairly new to wrestling. I did not have him in middle school on our middle school team, so he came out for wrestling, I believe, his freshman year. And I think he moved to Marshfield, so I thought, if I recall correctly, I think he was wrestling a little bit in the youth program where he came from. But yeah, Gavin Jacob, the senior here from Rapids, not ranked in the state currently, but Will is going to have a tall task. Will is wrestling in place of Joe Gianeschi, who's the Marshfield wrestler, also out due to sickness tonight. So Will is normally on our JV team, so it's a big ask on Will here to go out here against Jacob and try to get the job done. And he's fighting off his back right now, and
tough position to be in. But, yeah, trying to fill in those big shoes. He's got some pretty big, I'll say, boots to fill in here in this one tonight.
Yeah, we can, with John Sternois, we can kind of float him between 126 and 132. John's an absolute stud, and there Will gets pinned here in the first period with about 40 seconds left.
Gavin Jacob taking the win by the fall, and that increases Rapids' total already to 18 here through these first 3 matchups that we have for you. But coming up next, we will have the 138 class and Aiden Armagast, the senior, going up against Caston Kilty, a sophomore for the Tigers. Any thoughts going into this one?
Well,
here,
so
Coach?
Armagast is ranked number 16 in the state. It's been a very solid wrestler for Rapids. Caston has that long length, which, ironically enough, can, just like basketball, it has its pros when it comes to wrestling too, having those long arms and legs, the reach. So I think Aiden's going to have his hands full a little bit here with Caston, but Caston will have to wrestle one of his best matches to come out with the victory here.
Quite a bit of arm fighting here first, and going back once again to your point about the long arms, it takes that lengthiness to really get those reach-ins nice.
Yeah, you can reach further behind a wrestler for ankles and such versus a guy that's shorter in stature. So now Armagast has him in a front head position. He's got him on the chin and just shucked him by, so we call that a shuck. And Armagast there with the 3-point takedown. So what Caston's trying to do is he's trying to get to his base, right? He's got to get up to his knees, establish a base so that he can work out from the bottom. And Armagast is looking for wrist control. He's got an arm bar in right now along with the wrist. So Caston's got to fight to get his arms and wrists back to gain control.
He was trying to get him back in there.
There's Armagast again with that arm bar. So on Caston's left side, his arm is barred, and then on the right side, Armagast has his wrist. So call that a bar and wrist, and now Armagast is moving in for near fall here, and there's the pin.
And he just got it with 20 seconds to spare in the first period, and once again, Wisconsin Rapids is just rolling over Marshfield right now.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those things where if there was if you want to compete with Rapids, you got to be. Marshfield would have had to have been at full strength in order to compete here tonight, and we're definitely not at full strength. So with being down quite a few starters, then, like I say, you get to the guys that are dinged up a little bit, and it's like, no, we just want you to rest. You know, that's we want to save you for the best part of the year here at the end.
Yeah, and coming up here at the 144-pound class, we got Carter Freeman for Rapids up against Easton Ledden for the Tigers. And Ledden here ranked 12th in the state here for the Tigers, and Freeman number 2 though. It's going to be really tough to go up against him here, but this is a pretty solid matchup that we have here.
This would be a good matchup here, although Freeman is the returning state champion, so he should if Easton can pull out a victory, he would be one heck of a victory. Carter pulled out the state championship title over Easton Cooper of DC Everest last year in a very, very close match that came right down to the end. Carter's a phenomenal wrestler, and Easton is definitely a high-caliber wrestler as well. But it's going to be hard to stick with a wrestler by the caliber of Carter Freeman here.
Right now it's 3-1, and they're getting close to the very edge of the mat, and they're going to call him out.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So Freeman there with the initial takedown, and then let Easton up for a 1-point escape. And Ledden there had the takedown because he had a point of contact on the mat and inbounds, but Freeman's hand touched the gym floor, and therefore that supersedes the fact that Easton's foot was still inbounds on the mat.
And that's just got to be a higher wrestling IQ play there from Freeman to bring his hand off the mat on the gym floor to prevent that from happening. Final 20 seconds here of the first period. 6-1.
Freeman with the second takedown there, and he's not going to let him up now with short time. And he's going for a tilt here, and doesn't look like he's going to be able to get that tilt rolling here before the end of the first period.
The buzzer sounds, and we will finally have a second period of play. Currently 6-1, Freeman on top of Ledin at the moment. Today's matchup provided by River Edge GC. Get them what they really want for Christmas, even though the holidays are over. Maybe for Valentine's Day. A River Edge Golf Course membership for the 2025 golf season. Get membership rates and details at riveredgegolfcourse.com. River Edge Golf Course in Marshfield.
So Freeman, I believe it was Freeman's choice there. He chose down. That was a smart decision by him and his coaching staff. He's definitely good from the bottom, but I think Freeman didn't want to choose neutral because of that close call that he had at the edge of the mat there when Easton almost had that takedown. So off mat they go and reset here. Freeman immediately up to his feet. And I'm surprised they got called out of bounds there. It looked like they're – so then one of the new rules here in Wisconsin wrestling, which is it's one of those rules that they changed that where all the wrestling fans are like, well, god dang, it's about time. Out of bounds was so confusing and so subjective for the referee. There's Freeman there with the 2-point reversal at the edge of the mat. Out of bounds and previous to this year was so subjective and was in the eye of the beholder when it comes to the refs. And really referees don't want to be in a position of having to make a judgment call, right? So now what the new rule is that any point of contact by any one wrestler that's inbounds is considered inbounds. So you could be pinning somebody way off the mat, and as long as your toe is still inbounds, the pin will count. Unless one of the wrestlers comes in contact with the gym floor, then it's blown dead. But at these bigger tournaments, when you've got 10 mats laid out, there is no gym floor.
You don't have a gym floor that's around there, so,
right. So
it doesn't really get much into consideration. And then it's only just whoever, or if you keep your hand or any part of your body off of that line, that's when they take you back into the center.
Exactly. Back to neutral here with the boys. Now, if Easton can pull out a takedown here, if he can get the next takedown, it changes the whole complexion of this match. Allen there with a great duck under there by Freeman with that takedown. So that takedown there all of a sudden puts a wide gap. You know, you go from possibly 8-5 to now 11-2. So
a 6-point swing.
Exactly.
That really affects things. And Freeman, I mean, he just needs to get that 15-point difference it is, and then he'll take the match. Yeah,
and as it sits right now, he's up by 9, so that would be considered, if the match were to end right now, it would be a major decision. So then Rapids would get 4 team points for that match versus just 3 team points when it's just a decision. So win by 8 or more, you get 14 points. Win by 15 or more, you get 5 team points. Or a pin, if you get the pin, it's 16 points. Center of the mat here now.
Period number 3. So the final 2 minutes here between Freeman here and Ledin. It seems like wrestling runs pretty well with the Freeman family for Rapids. I mean, Jackson Freeman, he's one of the really good wrestlers around. Landon Freeman, another great, and Carter Freeman going on right here.
Exactly. Between Freemans and Tritz. those two names, they carry a lot of the weight of the Wisconsin Rapids wrestling teams.
Freeman was trying to keep his left foot there on the map, but ended up slipping right off. So 121 to go. It's still 11-2. But Easton here, he's got a tough hill to climb.
It is a really tough hill to climb. Easton's a stud wrestler. He's number 12 in the state, but Freeman's on a slightly different level there with another great duck under, bringing the score to 14-2 now. Freeman's definitely shooting for that tech fall. He knows he's not going to be able to pin Easton, so he's going to keep taking him down and letting him up would be his goal. Easton's got to, if Easton can catch a takedown here, then he's getting close to keeping it to a decision rather than a major. And that's 3-point takedown there. So Freeman moved behind Easton, and if Easton didn't put his hands on the mat, then there is no control established, so therefore no takedown yet. But as soon as you put one hand on the mat, then that's a takedown. Yeah,
Freeman, he's really taken control of this match. It's just been takedown after takedown. He's already got a couple of those here in this third period. Final 25 seconds.
Freeman's up by 13 points right now. One more takedown would seal the tech fall.
He's looking for it.
And Easton would be best suited to not tie up with Freeman and instead try to take a shot here. That Freeman's got a heck of a duck under.
He's going for it, and he's got it.
Yep.
With the tech fall there, so tack on the 5 more points. 5 more points.
That'll be
here.
5 team points there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Easton, good effort against the returning state champ. Oh, wow. And there you go, Carter Freeman. That's, according to the announcer, that's his 150th career win for the Rapids Red Raiders.
Wow.
Yep. That's a great achievement by any wrestler.
A huge congratulations there goes out to Carter Freeman, the senior for the Red Raiders. Today's matchup provided by Bruce Orthodontics. Bruce Orthodontics provides comprehensive orthodontic care for patients of all ages. They are now accepting new patients at their Marshfield office and accept most insurances. At Bruce Orthodontics, they're life-changing, one smile at a time. Set up a free consultation today.
So now we got Dalton Hagen out here versus Jack Ackerman. At 150 pounds. Dalton has been our starter at 150 for the majority of the year, actually. Dalton's had somewhat of a tough year. He's a below 500 wrestler, but what I love about those Hagen boys, he's a twin, and what I love about those Hagen boys, they're always putting out a lot of effort, and they're fun to watch. Great boys, but he's going to have his hands full here with Ackerman for sure.
I can relate to that. Being a twin myself, I put a lot of effort into the work that I do.
Does your brother take the credit, though?
We'll say he takes some of it, but currently 50 seconds left here in this first period. 3-1 right now for Ackerman.
Ackerman's in on a single leg.
Trying to get that leverage, yeah.
Dalton is trying to hip across, but it's not going to work. Ackerman's got that inside leg locked up. See, Dalton's got to get his head up, look away from that half Nelson. And now Ackerman with the arm bar and the wrist, and he's just about got. He's got the bar and wrist, but Dalton working some good defense here as we come to the end of the first period.
Wise decision on Dalton's end there to just let that one go out, wait till the new period, and Just a quick reminder for you guys watching the standings of the WVC. Rapids and Marshfield both 5-0. Then DC Everest sitting at 2-2. Stevens Point, Spash at 2-3. Wausau West 2-3, and Merrill 1-4 to round up the conference. Wausau East 0-5. Tough year to go for Wausau East. But this is the top of the line that we're seeing, excluding a lot of the really great Marshfield wrestlers out due to injuries and sickness.
Yeah, when towards the beginning of the year when we were at full strength, which we will get back to here at the end of the year, but when we were at full strength at the beginning of the year, we were wrestling down at the Wisconsin Dells Duels, which is a 32-team tournament down in the Dells that we always attend. And for the first time in Marshfield history, we won that whole tournament. And in that tournament were top 5 ranked teams. There was at least 4 top 5 ranked teams in the state amongst Division 1, 2, 3 that were down there. And Marshfield took them all out, and we won the whole thing. So it just kind of goes to show you that when we're at full strength,
the Tigers pounce on full strength.
We definitely do. This is definitely not going to be our night here tonight, but I truly believe that Coach C will have everybody back at full strength here, or darn near at full strength at the end of the year here.
Yeah, a quick pause here. A little bit of blood getting drawn, and I was looking at the scoreboard, the digital scoreboard that they have down at the scorer's table, and it said draw blood, just as the blood ended up being exposed out there on the floor. So we'll return back to play here. 9-1, and Rapids is a team right now in complete control after a few forfeits and some falls and tech fall. 29-0 at the moment, team scores. But yeah, guys, be sure to tune into all of our other live sports coverage going on, ZaleskiSports.com.
Ackerman's got a double armbar locked up. It's looking a little bit loose, though, so I don't know that he's going to be able to get Dalton to tip over with it. Dalton's trying like heck to get his arms back, and looks like he's maybe got one back. Yeah, he does. He's got one posted on the mat. And there's Ackerman with the bar and half.
You can tell Dalton, he was really fighting to get up right there, and
that was a good stance there by Dalton to fend off that offense by Ackerman as we go into the third period here. Right now, Ackerman's has sitting at a score of 9-1, so he's got a major as it sits right now if the match were to end, and Rapids would get 4 points. What we'd really like to see out of Dalton here is try to close that gap and get that gap less than 8 points here. And and along the way, if you're fighting like heck, along the way you might catch a blessing and catch a guy and pin him. You just never know.
That's the beauty about the world of high school sports. You just never know what could happen out there.
You could be up 14-0, and you get flipped on your back, and it's over. And you get pinned. It's over with. So.
I mean, we see it happen in the professional sports. Mm-hmm. Teams get way up on themselves when they're on a really good hot streak, and they kind of just exclude what's about to come next, and they don't prepare themselves for what's about to come, and they can get absolutely obliterated by their own cockiness and confidence level.
Actually, Dalton had a cradle hooked up there, but could not.
Yeah, there was some momentum that was building there for Dalton Hagan.
He just could not quite keep him on the mat, but it's a good sign. Dalton's keeping him down on the mat. Although I would venture to guess that towards the end of this period, if Dalton is not able to get him turned then Coach C will likely have Dalton cut him, meaning let him up, so that Dalton can try for the takedown and get that gap closed beneath 8 points.
Getting so close, they're going to say there's contact off the mat on the gym floor.
On the gym floor, so Dalton's still up. So we'll watch here with 48 seconds left. Dalton's losing by 8 points, so the major is there already. And if Dalton's not able to tip him onto his back, I'm guessing Coach C will tell him to cut him, which will give 1 point to Ackerman. But then the hope, of course, is that Dalton will get the takedown and instead bring that gap down to 6 points.
Now, he's really Ackerman fighting for it, and Ackerman just turned on him, and he was able to really secure that.
Yeah, so there's the reversal there for Ackerman, bringing the score to 11-1, and now Ackerman has got him on his back, but wasn't held there long enough to get any near fall points. That was the other change we were talking about, you and I were talking about before we got on the air. One of the other big changes to Wisconsin wrestling scoring is 3-point takedown instead of 2-point takedown. That's the major one. And equally big change was the near fall. 1 swipe is 0 points, 2 swipes is 2 points, 3 swipes is 3 points, and 4 swipes is 4 points. That's different than what it used to be. So, and the change that you see amongst wrestling now with the scoring changes and stuff like that is that when you have a score of 11-1, it's not as indicative of such a major victory. Last year, 11-1 score is a guy that dominated another guy. But now this year, did he get dominated? Yeah, he got dominated, but it's not as big of a domination as it was in previous years due to the changes in the scoring. So, yeah, especially when you see a match decided by 6, 7, 8 points. That's with today's scoring, that's actually a lot closer match than it used to be.
If it's by 6, I mean, that's a difference of 2 takedowns.
Yeah, just 2 takedowns, exactly.
There's not much that's there. So making that big change in the rules and scoring, it's probably changed a lot in the minds of these coaches on how can we gain more leverage ahead of these other teams, or just even any other ways of going strategically.
Mm-hmm. So we got Logan Drexler out here versus Caden Shalinski of Rapids. I don't have much information on Caden. At 157 pounds here, we would normally have Graydon Rohde, who's ranked number 13 in the state. He's coming off of sickness. I was talking to his parents earlier. He's feeling better. Still not 100%. So we're bringing Logan here, bringing him out on the mat in place of Graydon. Graydon was a state qualifier last year. And so we'll see what Logan here can do against Caden. He's down 3-0 currently.
Yeah, Logan ended up eating a lot of that mat on that big takedown from Tritz, and he's got him just like that. Add 6 more to the total here for Rapids, and like we said going into the broadcast, you kind of knew that Marshfield was going to be weak on numbers, and they had really big shoes to fill in. But looking forward to the end of the season and everything, it's going to be the regionals and sectionals. That's where the real champions are made, even though a conference championship would be sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely conference is not. When I was back in high school wrestling, I think conference was more important back in the day, or it was, but I don't feel like it's as big of a deal in this day and age. It's all about how you do at the end of the year, which makes sense to me. Especially you're in the middle of winter here, you're trying to get everybody, the sickness rolling through the state and the flu and so your main goal is to make sure everybody's healthy at the end of the year for when it's the most important.
In the 165 class now, it's Jeremiah Peters for the Red Raiders, the junior who's got a 12-15 record, so he's trying to bring his record to more to the 500 side, up against Brett Barlow here for the Tigers.
And actually, this is Rapids changed out here. They got Mason Tritz in here. They bumped him up to 165. Okay. So, yeah, Brett Barlow versus Mason Tritz. Mason looks like he's ranked number 11 out in the state at 157. And Brett is he's definitely no slouch. I mean, Brett has been a much improved wrestler. He's also one of them late bloomers, didn't go out for wrestling until I think he was a freshman. And the levels he's jumped in 4 years of wrestling has been super impressive. So this will be an interesting little matchup here. So far, 30 seconds left in the first period, score 0-0. Tritz got in on a single, but Brett was able to fend him off. So
yeah, final 15 seconds here of this first period. Winner of this match or this duel today, it's going to be who's number 1 overall in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. And right now, Rapids looking to take that place and stand alone.
So Brett comes in here in place of Hayden Carlson, our 165-pounder. Hayden's ranked number 8 in the state. Has just been, and he's just a sophomore. I tell you, the future of that kid is through the roof. I had him in middle school. He's a great kid, fun to be around, and just an animal on the football field and on the wrestling mat. There's parts of him. I'm very familiar with Stephen Buchanan, who was a 2-time state champion out of Loyal, Wisconsin, who now wrestles for the Iowa Hawkeyes at 197 pounds. Iowa Hawkeyes are ranked number 2 in the country in wrestling, and Stephen Buchanan is ranked number 1 in Division I wrestling at 197 pounds. He's an absolute beast, and it's a very proud thing for Central Wisconsin and especially Loyal, Wisconsin, to have a 2-time state champion be ranked number 1 in the country at a D1 school at 197 pounds. So anyway, Hayden Carlson, there are glimpses of him when I see him wrestle. There's these little spotlights of situations where I see a little bit of Stephen Buchanan in him. So I'm extremely excited to see what Hayden can do as we move forward here. So Brett taking the place of Hayden here as he recovers from his sickness. So, but like I say, Brett's, he's behind Hayden in the lineup, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily JV level wrestler. Brett's a starter on most teams. He's just behind an absolute stud in Hayden Carlson. So this will be very interesting here to see. And here is Brett was just about moving around to the backside, picking the ankle, but Tritz here with the takedown about halfway through the second period to go up 3-0. As they're battling at the edge of the mat here. Brett's got to try to get his elbow back.
He's trying to swing it around, and Tritt now, he might have just had his right foot just off the mat, and that could be a little bit of a help there for Brett, who's down 3-0. He's going to start down low, though, first. So Tritz will try to contain here.
And Brett's keeping a good base here. And he's got to keep his elbows and wrists out and away to keep Tritz from controlling him. He's got to get back up to his base, but now Tritz has got that wrist behind Brett's back. This is not where Brett wants to be. He's got to fight like heck to get his wrist back and get control of it. And Tritz gave up on the wrist and is moving into a barbed wire position, and he's going to work for a cradle here. And he's got the cradle locked up, and Brett is Oh, he just about rolled out of it, but now Brett's going to be fighting off his back here for the last couple seconds.
He's just kicking his body, trying to force his way out of there.
And that'll be 4 near fall there for Tritz to go up 7-0. It's now Tritz's choice. Looks like he's going to be going down.
That's a huge thing there for Tritz to get those 4 points just before the end of the period. And now you have a comfortable 7-0 lead compared to what earlier was a 3-0.
Yeah, it was just a takedown before. So now Brett's going to be, I'm sure Coach C is going to give Brett a chance to get Tritz on his back, and if Cody sees that it's not going to work, that he won't be able to get him to his back, then he might have Brett cut him so that they can get to their feet, and then from there, you know, all sorts of possibilities open up with throws, headlocks, lat drops, things like that. So
just any way to score at this point here,
correct,
for Brett would be just maybe a good change of the momentum. Almost looked like he stepped off onto the gym floor, but
like that. Yep.
They didn't call it. They're going to keep going. Just over a minute to go here in this third and final period.
So Tritz got the escape there to bring the score to 8-0. So that's okay. Like, this is where, I mean, you'd rather give up the 1 escape than the 2 reversal, because Tritz rode him out towards the end of the second period. So Brett would much rather go to your feet than get caught underneath Tritz. Mm-hmm. At least now you got a fighting chance, you know.
And they're going to pause play for blood. So we're going to take a pause here as well. We'll step aside and we'll be back here in either the next 30 seconds to a minute here on Zaleski Sports.
After a couple years of a job that doesn't fit, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That is where Mid-State Technical College comes in. Would cooking be a good fit? Try on a career in welding. Perhaps the outdoors suits you better. Or maybe helping people is a better fit. No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options, making Mid-State the perfect fit.
Is it time to replace your old gutters? Call Schwartz Seamless Gutters and protect your home with new seamless technology. No seams, no leaks. With free estimates in 2 days or less and workmanship guaranteed, our service is as seamless as our gutters.
Yeah. Welcome back here, everybody. Wisconsin Valley Conference action of wrestling here on Zaleski Sports, presented by Nuts Deep. How much useless knowledge do you have? Play America's Pub Quiz Trivia every Tuesday night at Nuts Deep 2 in Marshfield. You can win prizes and bring your friends as well. The fun starts at 7 p.m. every Tuesday night. It's trivia night at Nuts Deep 2 in Marshfield.
So now we're back to the action here, 8-0 with Tritz winning over Brett Barlow right now. Brett's got 18 seconds left. He's got to make something special happen here. He's got to get to a throw position, being down 8. That's the only thing that'll save him.
Not in a good position here for him. Oh, maybe he can fiddle his way out, but 3 seconds left, and Tritz has just got him down. And he's going to take it.
So still a good showing there by Brett Barlow, you know, against a ranked wrestler in Mason Tritz. Happy for Brett. Constantly improving, constantly working hard. Love seeing that out of the kid.
The scoreboard may not be showing it right now, but all these kids, they're putting in the most effort they can into everything, and that's really what a lot of this is all about. As somebody who was in high school like 6 years ago and whatnot, playing in sports, and you're getting just beaten up as much as you are, it can be a challenge, and it can be really frustrating, but you still got to put all that effort in, and you can tell that Marshfield, they're still trying and doing everything they can.
So this is interesting here at 175, which is normally where Caleb Denny would be wrestling. They put in Aaron Agna, who's definitely no slouch either, but Caleb Denny, 2-time state runner-up, currently ranked number 9 in the country. Caleb is a 2-time All-American at Fargo and took second at the World Team Trials out in Vegas. So anyway, they moved Caleb. Looks like Coach C is going to be moving Caleb up to 190 to possibly wrestle Kyler Tritz if Kyler is dropping down to 190, which would be a great matchup to see. Kyler Tritz being ranked number 6 in the state and a 2-time state qualifier. So Agna there with the takedown at the edge of the mat. Agna's a stud. I believe he's just a sophomore. Or I believe he's a junior actually. But he's wrestling behind one of the best to ever do it in Marshfield wrestling history. In fact, you could easily make the argument the best to do it ever in Marshfield wrestling history in Caleb Denny, who just recently, a few weeks ago, broke the all-time career wins record held by Brad Dozel, the 3-time state champ himself. But Caleb beat that record a few weeks ago. So yeah, Aaron Agna is a stud as well. But when you're wrestling behind a guy like Caleb, the beauty of it is though, Aaron gets because of Marshfield's ability to move Caleb around to wrestle really anybody. Aaron has had quite a bit of varsity matches here, and so he's definitely not unfamiliar with this territory.
And
nice.
Another big takedown there.
Bear hug and takedown to his back here.
Got a couple of swipes, too, from the officials.
Caught 4 near fall there at the end to go up 10-1 for Aaron. That was a great sequence there.
And that there for Marshfield, that's where it's the situation. Iron sharpens iron. So Agna right now, he's being sharpened by Caleb.
No doubt about it.
At the moment. And, yeah, you mentioned his accomplishments and everything, just getting to be the all-time record leader for Marshfield. That's a big accomplishment, and that definitely puts you up in the GOAT category for the high school.
No doubt. And and that's why these teams like Rapids, Marshfield, Kaukauna, that's why they maintain these long years stretch runs of being great because of the iron sharpens iron. It just keeps trickling down to the sophomores and freshmen, and then they become studs, and it keeps trickling down. So,
and that's going to be the win right there for Agna on the tech fall there. So, an impressive showing there for Marshfield, and they finally tally themselves up here on the scoreboard. So, Marshfield fans watching, there you go. There's a Tigers win there, and for the Rapids fans watching, hey, you guys are doing pretty good as well.
Yeah, so here now Rapids has to report to the table first for 190 pounds. So, what do we have coming up to the table here for Rapids? We got Josh Taylor moving in to 190 pounds here. And Caleb Denny's still back there warming up. So they very well be bumping up. They very well be possibly bumping Caleb up 2 weight classes to wrestle Tritz at 215 pounds. And here's Josh Taylor out here on the mat at 190. And quick takedown and right to his back here. Taylor's sliding in for some near fall. There's 3 near fall there.
And off the mat they go. Already a 6-0 lead here for Josh Taylor over Aiden Stainbrook, the senior here for Rapids. Stainbrook, he's got a 14-3 record here on the season, and as a senior, he's got a tough task here though with Joshua Taylor.
Yeah, and Josh is another one of those. They're so rare. The Josh didn't wrestle in middle school either. At least we didn't have him, so I'm not sure if he transplanted in from a different city, but I don't believe he did. I don't know that he had any youth wrestling experience or middle school experience. Started out as a freshman. And again, iron sharpens iron. He's wrestling with Denny, he's wrestling with Agna, he's wrestling with our stud coaches up there, and getting better and better by the week. So here we go with Taylor taking it to Stainbrook here, the senior. And there's a
big
takedown there by
Taylor
to go up 12-2, already in major position from a scoring standpoint. So
anytime those bigger weight classes can pick up another one of that same size, it is just
well, and the key there, of course, is being athletic enough to get into that, to get in so deep to be able to get to that point. So, yeah, when these big guys, if they're in deep, if they already got the guy up on their shoulders, it's because they got in deep. And if they got in deep, it's because they're that athletic to get in that deep.
20 seconds to go here in the first period. Marshfield coming off of one of their just last wins here, and they're now up to 5 on the team scoreboard overall. Joshua Taylor trying to add on to that with a 12-3 lead right now in the first period. Lots of scoring there for him in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, he came out on fire here. So this is what I love about Caleb Denny and what he's willing to do for his team. He's going to be jumping up 2 weight classes, it looks like, to wrestle Kyler Tritz. And Caleb he's a headhunter. He wants the best of the best. And it don't matter if it's 2 weight classes above him or not. Earlier this year at those duels in the Dells, where that tournament that we won for the first time in our history, he moved up to 215 pounds and wrestled the number 2 ranked wrestler in the state by the name of Blake Theory from Prairie du Chien. And he's now ranked number 1 in the state at 215, and Caleb beat him by a score of 4-1. It was like David versus Goliath. You think Caleb looks big? That Blake Theory made him look small. And I don't mean that Blake Theory he's well, I think he's going to go play football for the Badgers, to be honest. So he's a massive, massive human being. And there's Josh there with the quick throw down to his back, and what Josh would love to do here is get the pin instead of the tech fall, because if Steenbrook gets off his back, that's going to be the tech fall there. So they will stop the match, I believe. Let's see, it already awarded
Taylor
it.
Is at, he's at 20.
There
so,
you go.
Yeah, the 15 difference.
All right, well, almost certain here that Rapids will, Josh Taylor with a heck of a victory there. Great wrestling by him over the 14-3 senior. So here comes Caleb Denny to the table. We'll see what Rapids is going to do here. If they're going to put Tritz out there against them, doesn't look like it. I think they're going to forfeit.
Back-to-back wins here.
Darn it.
Unfortunately, we're not going to see that anticipated match that it sounded like you were going for. There's some boos from the other side of the crowd. Hey, but just like that, that's 3 consecutive victories there for the Tigers, and it climbs them back into that potential of getting this to be close. But things all considered, I think Rapids already does have the victory.
Yeah, they
right
do.
There, partner?
Mathematically, I'm guessing
mathematically. But they can still climb their way and get closer, and with the people that they're missing, they could see this as a monumentous victory.
And so Brock Carofi coming out here against Tanner Gormanson. So Tanner's ranked number 2 in the state here. State qualifier last year, now ranked number 2 in the state for Rapids. Brock is definitely no slouch. He took 8th at the Bi-State Classic, which hosts about 75 high school Wisconsin teams between Wisconsin and Minnesota. So Brock definitely has a lot of wrestling experience.
This is 285 pounds going at each other, guys. So this is, I mean, we're seeing the biggest of the big going on at each other, but these guys are athletic. These guys, they got a lot of leverage going towards them, especially for Gormanson being ranked 2nd in the state here for Rapids.
Brock's doing a good job holding his base, trying to get to that quad paw position. Gormanson with the takedown here early on, but Brock's, and it's tough, right? Like for these heavyweights, the style of wrestling changes when you get to the heavyweights. There's certain things you can do and certain things you can't do and shouldn't do because of the massive men that these guys are, that you don't want to get caught underneath. And here Brock is going to have to fight off his back here against Gormanson. He's got short time, 20 seconds left, but
he's got it tough there, and they're going to take they'll give a fall on it. So Gormanson proving why he's ranked second here in the state. Just he's a manhandler. That's just how he's been rolling here throughout his career in wrestling. The senior now improves his record at 29-2, and just like that, the 3-game win streak there for Marshfield comes to an end.
So here we got coming out Micah Bremer here from Marshfield, and Jackson Freeman, the sophomore from Rapids.
And now we flip the script from 285 to 106.
And this is where normally my daughter would be wrestling. She's nursing an injury as well here, so she's not going to be wrestling tonight. She's currently ranked #1 in the state in the girls division, a returning state champion. So Micah would, when Ava's in the lineup, Micah and her kind of flip-flop between 106 and 113. So Micah's out here against Jackson Freeman. Micah is a very, very promising freshman. Jackson Freeman being a sophomore and Micah being a freshman here. Micah has some really, really bright things coming up in his future. He's had a typical freshman year for anybody that's pretty good at wrestling in middle school. He was pretty darn good, and then you get into high school freshman, it's tough, super tough. Now Micah's got a winning record. He's holding his own, and he's run into some buzzsaws and stuff like that, but he's staying mentally strong, and now he's working up here for the reversal here against Freeman. And, oh, no, and he's got him in the spladle.
That just looks like a bad place to be in.
He almost... And there's wow. Micah working out of the spladle. Freeman will get 4 near fall, but...
I don't know. It seemed like Micah was in a very uncomfortable spot, and for him to get out of that seemed like some impressive stuff there as they shove each other out of bounds. So they'll go back into the center here with just over 30 seconds to go here in this weight class of 106 matchup.
So Micah's got to gain control and peel that hand off of his forearm. Freeman looking for the cradle here. Got to keep battling, peel that off, and get back to your base. 10 seconds left in the first period here.
He tried to turn it around, but they're just going to stay put here in the first period, second period here. Coming up, today's match provided by Hefco. This Valentine's Day, send the best. Flowers from Hefco Floral. She'll come home with a smile. That's Hefco. Also by Ridgetop Exteriors. Just like these players bring their best to the mat, Ridgetop Exteriors brings top-tier performance to your home. From roofing projects to siding, windows, and doors, Ridgetop Exteriors has the winning strategy to protect your home. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com and score big with trusted, local, and affordable service.
Here's Micah. He was able to fend off that cradle here, and he's got wrist control on landing, and he's hoping for a stalemate from the ref, which the ref does call. So stalemate meaning both wrestlers are in a position of no action, and therefore we're going to get reset so we can get some more action on the mat. Freeman's constantly throwing in that cross-body ride, and Micah's going to want to try to seal that off to catch that leg before it comes in. But now Freeman's got double boots in. It's super tough to get out of this position when he got double boots in. And
Freeman trying to carry the family tradition of the Freemans in wrestling dominance, and he's currently got that 7-0 lead. And Bremer here.
There you go. Micah
turns it
finally
around.
was able to turn and snatch that leg. Now he's got to work up and keep coming across. He's got to get.
He's trying
He's
to
got to
break
get his
free with
other
that
arm
leg
under
there.
that leg and then get across his waist. He's got to get his right arm across his waist before the ref calls stalemate here. You don't want to see the ref call a stalemate, and Micah's just about.
He's trying
15
to lift
seconds
that
left.
up and it bring it back. Some of the benches where lots of encouragement coming from both sides, and
Yeah, he's got to hold off there.
final
Probably
2
another
seconds
3
and the
near
buzzer
fall there.
goes.
He gave him 4.
And yeah, the official ended up throwing up the 4 fingers for 4 on the near fall. So now it's 11-0, and that was tough there for Mike. If he didn't allow anything to happen there, but it'd still only be at 7.
Yeah, and then you got a fighting chance here, and off the whistle here, Freeman with the quick shot to an ankle pick. And now Micah's really just hoping for a stalemate here to get reset. He's a pretty good scrambler for a freshman, and there is the stalemate. So we'll get reset here, and Micah's got to be ready on the whistle here. Freeman shot in quickly just prior. Micah's got to be reaching deep into his toolbox and try to find his best throw.
What a move from Freeman to just swipe right underneath on Bremer, and now it's going to be really difficult for him to really come back on anything. Freeman just needs one more for the tech.
Yeah, good duck under there by Freeman as he moves into that cradle position, and there's a couple near falls, so that'll do it for the tech, but Micah is definitely going to still try to fight to avoid the pin, and there it is.
Yeah, he avoids the pin, but Jackson Freeman, now 25-9, the sophomore in the 106 class, taking it home in Rapids, up to 54 here in this matchup.
And I believe Marshfield will be forfeiting at 113. Alex Davis
If
has.
that's the case, this would be the last matchup that we have, and there's no one there. So, hey, Luke. Oh, they say Bignowski was who ended up getting it.
Yeah.
So Bignowski taking it home, and that is it. Wisconsin Rapids is in full control of the Wisconsin Valley Conference, taking this one 60-16 over Marshfield. And coming up next year for us will be the Nasonville Dairy postgame show. Nasonville Dairy with fresh cheese curds made daily. Get your cheese curds Nasonville Dairy in Marshfield, Curtis, or NasonvilleDairy.com. We'll be right back.
Good day. My name is Ken Hyman, and welcome to Nasonville Dairy here in central Wisconsin, Marshfield, Wisconsin, as a matter of fact. Nasonville Dairy actually goes back to 1885. We are the oldest plant in Wood County. When our father brought us here in the early 1960s, we ran 7,500 pounds of milk a day. We now run 1.8 million pounds of milk a day. We buy dairy milk from 200 dairy farmers here in central Wisconsin, produce it, and ship it all over the world. We make a lot of different cheeses. We make cheddar, Colby, Monterey, Farmer's Cheese, Peach Cheese, Quesa Blanca, Quesa de Freer, Seco, Parm, Romano, Asiago, Fontina, Feta Caseri, Caflatiri, Cafla Graviera, 20 different flavors of Monterey, as well as making Edam, Gouda, and Munster. This has allowed us to go to a lot of different countries. Our furthest accounts are now in China, Japan, Canada, Saudi Arabia. We do ship to Mexico, as well as a number of other places throughout the world. This is what we call Cheese Making 101. We tried to walk you through the cheese plant today, And we're in hopes that you see our people, what they're doing, and the amount of work that goes into producing the products that we hope you enjoy. We make a lot of different cheeses. We make cheddar, Colby, Monterey, Farmer's Cheese, Peach Cheese, Quesa Blanca, Quesa de Fir, Seco, Parm, Romano, Asiago, Fontina, Feta Caseri, Caflateri, Cafla Graviera, 20 different flavors of Monterey, as well as making Edam, Gouda, and Munster. And the cheese be with you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nasonville Dairy postgame show. Brendan Retzloff, Ty Gardner, and Trevor Zaleski here with you guys. But a big thank you to Rapids for having us out here for this match. A 60-16 win for the Red Raiders over the Marshfield Tigers. But, hey, we're going to go to you, Coach. Last thoughts here on both of these teams, and I know you're a Marshfield guy, so the thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I bleed black and orange, and we definitely, there's nothing more that Coach C, that all the fans, that all the wrestlers would have liked to have been, but just coming into this dual meet very, very healthy. That would have been super great to put on a great show out here. You catch the bug, you catch flu bug and all that kind of stuff, and just rolls through your team through that practice room. And unfortunately, we drew the short straw here on that end of things. And Rapids, they're a juggernaut in their own right. And certainly they would have rather have seen a great contest, I think, tonight than to even, when you're one of the best, you want to go up against the best. And you want to see them at full strength. So it's unfortunate for tonight, but it's in the best interest of everybody to be healthy at the end of the year. And Rapids has they kind of drew the short straw when it comes to the sectional lineup and stuff issued by the WIAA. They're going to have Kakona in their sectional, and only one team is going to come out of that. So we'll see how that turns out on their end. Marshfield will have I believe it'll be a tough race at our regional, but I believe we'll almost definitely make it to sectionals. We'll either be in the number 1 spot or the number 2 spot. We'll be fighting with Holman there in regionals, and then we'll get to team sectionals, and then anything can happen. I think there's a chance we'll have Menominee in the first round at team sectionals, and if we're at full strength, we can definitely take them out. And then we got Holman, and then we would have Holman in the finals at sectionals, and then that's going to be a tall task. But if we're firing on all cylinders, anything can happen in that dual meet. That'll be an exciting one. So.
Yeah, a solid look for, I would say, both of these programs, especially, for you guys. And then it is a tough goal that Rapids, as you pointed out, too, that they'll have that same sectional as Kakano, who is just a juggernaut of a program, 4 consecutive state championships. They've won the FVA conference like 29, 30 years in a row. It's an insane statistic that's there, but for Marshfield in this match tonight, who stuck out to you the most?
Actually, I would have to say Brett Barlow was was an impressive match against Tritz. He's getting better by the week, and Josh Taylor too at 190. Josh has been doing some great things for us. We didn't have Jace Frick there at 215, and so Josh is taking over at 190, and I think he's going to be our starter at 190 moving forward. Jace Frick 215 moving forward, but anyway, Josh Taylor has been jumping levels here towards the end of the year, and I'm excited to see him see what he can do here, and like I say, in this particular matchup tonight, Brett Barlow wrestled a really, really good match against a tough competitor. He lost, but still, it was impressive.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, Joshua Taylor, I thought he ended up playing outstanding as well, and that was kind of when we referred to the iron sharpens iron reference of Caleb helping out Josh and making him a much better wrestler out there on the mat. But hey, guys, this is a reminder, especially for the Marshfield team, which is dealing with those sicknesses and all of that. Wash your hands, hygiene. It's important out there because obviously you want to see your best players compete and go at it and see the best of the best go at each other. But tonight we didn't get to see it, but hey, there's still lots of promise and in both of these programs, and it'll be exciting to see what happens going into the rest of the season and then come playoff time as well. But Ty Gardner, thank you for joining our broadcast here today. It was a pleasure having you, especially helping out with the wrestling terminology and educating myself and Trevor and maybe some folks who are watching that may not have any clue as to what's going on with the sport.
No, it's my pleasure. Like I say, I bleed black and orange, and our wrestling program has been one of, if not the most successful athletic program that Marshfield has produced over the last decade. So, we appreciate you guys coming out and following Marshfield wrestling because these kids are working hard and busting their butts to get to the spot where they need to be here at the end of the year.
Yeah, and we don't cover as much of wrestling in terms of the other sports here on Zaleski Sports, but all the times that we have been able to do it, we get lots of comments from people saying, hey, thanks for getting to do this, and because it just doesn't get as much recognition. And you were telling me that wrestling, it's one of the largest growing sports out there
for
nationally.
For women's wrestling,
it
is. Yeah, it's the fastest growing sport in America currently. And so, well, we'd love to have you out in Holmen because like I say, I'd bet $1,000 right now that Marshfield Tigers will make it to team sectionals the Tuesday after regionals. And so it'll be a quad. It'll be 4 teams at the top 2 teams from 2 regionals, so 4 teams total, battling it out on a Tuesday night. And it's going to be a heck of a battle, and I believe everybody will be at full strength at that time.
And before we let you go, any closing thoughts here?
Well, I think I am really, really looking forward to the end of the year here. I don't want to bypass everything between here and then, but because these are some fun times coming up for these wrestlers with conference and regionals coming up and stuff. But yeah, the team atmosphere, team sectional. Hopefully, we can pull off another trip down to team state, and try to make it down to the barn this year. That's if you've never been there, that's an atmosphere unlike any other. It's even different than individual states. So I would say we definitely have a chance. We're going to have to we're going to have to get a lot of people back to 100%. And if we can, we definitely got a chance.
The bar is set, shooting for the barn, the ultimate prize at the end of the day. Ty Gardner, thank you for joining us. We're going to close our broadcast here quickly. So from all of us here at Zaleski Sports, Brendan Retzloff, Ty Gardner, Trevor Zaleski doing our production work. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune into our other live coverage on ZaleskiSports.com. You can see live scores that we have as well as all the games that we have going on over there as well. So that's going to do it for us here in Rapids. Signing off. 60-16. Rapids takes it. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you then.